Digigrant, hello, welcome. Um, howdy, I'm okay. Quite all right, actually. Ooh. Well, what do we have here? I haven't streamed in a bit. We'll have to make sure that all of my bases are fine. Stream seems to be working. Twitch, YouTube, all good. I think we can start. Yeah. So last time when I streamed, I did some OpenGL bindings generator, and I started like splitting it into separate modules. And I think what I need to do now is kind of integrate these modules back into my main program, into Hitboxer, and the loader from the module itself and the way I'm using it in my actual program, Hitbox, are quite diverse from each other. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna probably modify some of the loader code in Hitboxer and then put it back. So this particular code, it's like an amalgamation of my own code and the code that I stole from from GL module. So we need to kind of factor it all out, I think. I guess the way I would do it is I'll probably open another Emacs on the side and have Glide here. Yeah. Maybe not on the side, maybe in the same instance of Emacs. It's always kind of confusing to have, either two different instances of Emacs side by side or have like a pane split in Emacs, because navigation between them is slightly different in both cases. And it doesn't make much sense to have two different like Emacs, because I can just have two different projects open at the same time. It's one of my old habits before Emacs like gained proper project support, and like having two projects opened in the same Emacs would confuse some of the modes. So it's just like a habit I have to open two different projects in two different instances of editor. And it's not even about Emacs, it's because I use a bunch of other editors. They usually have problems with this. But it's all kind of like old habit, and now there's no real reason to do that. Yeah, so the way I changed it in my bindings generator is that I put like loader code in like generated folder, and then module is stuff that I hand wrote. And this module, this is like an old version of my bindings generator. It's just literally a couple generated files that I need, so EGL and just regular GL. And the module that both loads the procs, loads the extension, and also provides like debug callbacks and stuff like that. Yeah. So before I guess I proceed, I should probably make sure it still builds. And not only builds, like builds and runs. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, nice. Actually wonder if I should just straight up integrate the generator itself into my program. Maybe I should, I don't know. Yeah, anyway. Not now, no, not now. I was just thinking about doing something that would kind of distract me. Anyway. So what do we have here? I'm thinking, so first I'm thinking about rewriting this GL load in a way that accepts the API here. So like, for example, EGL. And either accepts library names or provides fallbacks. So something like XCB module, something like this. I have load XCB. It doesn't actually take any sort of how do you say it, any parameters, but it like has a list of options to try out. I probably should do the same thing here because apparently on some distributions, for example on Fedora, you only have a versioned library. So I used to do it like this, libgl.so, and then this just wouldn't work on Fedora because Fedora only has this one. And yeah, I guess that's kind of a better way to do it anyway. Fedora mentioned, yeah, I was talking about you. This was like literally two symbols, like these two symbols, fixed on Fedora. But yeah, lol. Here's the fabled memcpy intrinsic. Tips Fedora. Or I guess tips is just when you like. So what do I have here in my actual code? So this populate supported extensions is exactly the same as in the loader. It just kind of like creates a fake context. So yeah, we have a config and we get the context. And then we use this context to get the supported extensions. And then after that, we load procs, and blah, blah, blah. And it has like a loader that is kind of a loader, not call, loader pointer here, which is like a global, which is an issue when you have multiple versions of APIs. Load extensions also okay, and then create context. I think this is something that gets called by sim. Yeah, so this is something that's called by sim. And as GL, yeah, GL create context, this is the one, right? So if Linux, I'm just straight up calling GL create context from GL. Where's the... It doesn't have imports here. Yeah, because it is in the module. No? Yeah, there you have it. That's it. So it's kind of like just a JDL. I need to rename this module. I don't like the name JDL, but yeah. I've been using GL module that comes with the compiler. Would this OpenGL bindings generator you're working on make better bindings to work with? Yes. Yes, it will. That's the goal. The OpenGL bindings that ship with the compiler, they're quite opinionated when it comes to Linux. For example, they just insist on using GLX, so X11 bindings for OpenGL, and they also insist on linking GLX directly with the executable, which is actually pretty bad when you want Wayland support, right? So, you know, you want to make a Wayland compatible program and you're forced to link against X11 library. Also, it means that you will have to use libx11, which is kind of, you know, bad and bloated. And I don't want to do that. I want to use XCB. So yeah. Hey, MD Fury, what the fuck is this font? Welcome, yeah, I'm doing well. Hope you too. So yeah, the bindings that and also on top of that, sorry, let me finish. The bindings that ship with Jai, they are just pre-generated with GLAD, right? So they have what they have. And my bindings generator, it's like completely from scratch. So just straight up from XML. So it's GLAD alternative. The way I will make it is that you can actually just include it in your build meta program and you can say, I want only like this profile, these extensions, generate me my own bindings. Does Jai have clean stack traces when doing something bad? Yes, Sir Elfman, it does. So it has both like internal stack traces, right? So for example, when you call user level assert, you will get clean stack traces with, you know, files and lines and stuff like that. And it also supports stack traces on segfault through runtime support crash handler that you can also turn on and off. On Linux with glibc, the segfault stack trace is not super good because it doesn't have line numbers and column numbers. The strangest hello I've received in my life. Well, that's the strangest fucking font I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, welcome. We don't discriminate against weird fonts. Shadow stack. I mean, how user space stacks are implemented, I have no idea. Hey, Plasar. But I mean, if you want to get stack trace on segfault, it's just, you just use system APIs, right? So here's runtime support crash handler. It's completely user space, and it's just like on Linux. You need a bunch of structs like siginfo, and you need to handle the signal. Basically, that's it. So yeah, there's like a bunch of signals, and the one you need is sig action. Yeah, here. So you just say signal on each of them, on blah 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 blah, and when you handle signal, you just use few. Well, I'm saying just use. It's not super easy to do. It's still, you see, like a bunch of code that you need to handle. Right. But it's literally, you call library functions to get backtrace symbol and backtraces. And libexec info, in case of glibc, it's just, you just link against libc and you get them. The fuck is this? And it's like, it's not, is it like a custom font? Is it like, because you see when I'm pasting it in a terminal, it's literally, it looks like different Unicode code points, right? So it's not a regular ASCII G, or I mean it's A, right? It's not regular ASCII A. So you're not changing the fonts. It's literally a different Unicode code points, which is kind of lame if you think about it, right? I'm also trying to catch Stack Overflows, which kind of hard. Yeah, actually not sure how to do that. I've never done it myself. But anyway, so GL create context, this is something called by simp. And it's like created major, minor, and MSAA. This is like a kind of weird one. In the end, because it's not font, because it's not the font. I said I'm not discriminating against fonts, but it's not the font. It is different Unicode code point. The difference is huge. So it's kind of, you know, cheating. Yeah. Okay. Okay, my guy, you can stop now. We realized you know how to like copy paste funny Unicode symbols. You have to stop, or I will have to enforce Twitch terms of service when it comes to minimal allowed H on the platform. So yeah. Create context. Also dump GL errors. Don't believe such things. Okay, okay. I see you can type normally. Also this. When is this used? Alright, so this one is from debug log. Yeah, so these are just straight up copies from Jai OpenGL module, I think. And if I recall correctly, I just copied all of that to make this function work. GL create context. And as far as I know, some of this stuff, some of these things that just isn't working. For example, GL enable debug. Wait. Yeah. So GL enable debug. No. It is used. It is used by simp as well. Break on error true. So if break on error, you do GL enable. GL debug output synchronous. Boom. Okay. Okay, I see. So, because there are two ways to do it in OpenGL, right? You can just straight up create context with debug bit, and then you can, I guess, toggle debug on and on. That's the only place where you do it. Hey Raken, what the fuck? I'm getting infected with Unicode code points. Have you ever used Ruby on Rails at work? I did. Yes, I did. Why are you asking? It was... I mean, it depends on your definition of fun. Some of it was fun for sure. Like Ruby is a fun language. Rails, too much magic in my opinion. If you compare frameworks, like web frameworks and interpreted languages, I prefer Django, like Python's Django more. Yeah, so the way I see it now is that these, so enabled debug output probably stays. This stays as well. Application and other messages. This can be deleted. Useless comment. I can reformat it slightly. What is this? If dump GL errors. Else. Oh yeah, so it uses discard, kind of like assertion hack. Okay. Kind of useless comment. So do you have here had error? So this kind of like checks for debug message log blah 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 extension. While true, source type ideal, length, buffer size. Don't get debug message log arp. What the fuck is buffer? Ah, yeah, there you go. Why is it capital buffer? Whatever. Source, type ID, severity, length, buffer data. Tag, yeah. Only if the above function not filtered. I'll just remove all of that. Yeah, so this is if we have like a proper message extension. Otherwise, we kind of do a bozo version of it with GL get error. And GL errors is used. Where is it used? In simp. Yeah. So all of this is like a simp. So I don't really like it. The fact that I'm kind of tying, again, I'm like tying this. All of this is just a compatibility layer, so simp works. And simp just straight up uses it. You need to do something about it, like something, you know, simple. Maybe it's the same sort of deal as with window type module, or maybe like clipboard module. So the way I do it now is I have this thing called JDL, which is like kind of my own like platform library that currently only does X11 Linux. Well, it does have Windows code that's like not tested very well, but I think it works. And it has like a clipboard. But you see what it does? Is this just an interop with GI modules? And what it does is it just calls out into this JDL module. That's all it does. And then, for example, get-rect and, you know, simp and other system modules, they will just transparently use it. So maybe we need to do something like this for simp and OpenGL. I'm sorry for yawning. I think we have something similar for input, do we not? So this is like partially, again, this is like partially copied from GI. But you see, it kind of like, it imports JDL for like platform things. This is also pretty old. Oh, actually this one is weird. I'm like pretty sure I'm not using any of it. Nice one, look at this. It's just like Emacs syntax highlighting just decided to die here. You know, it was like, I'm gonna highlight your syntax. But here, I'm just not gonna do it anymore. I just don't feel like it, boss. And then here, okay, let's highlight it again. What the fuck? And I bet if I reload the module... Here. Now we're chilling. Yeah, sometimes Emacs like font lock just gives up on life like this. I think something tells me I can just ignore it. I can just delete it. This I cannot delete. Yeah, and here you have it. Just import JDL and can I... What if I just drop it? Will it compile or not? Or does it import X11 here? Yeah, I don't think it does. It just does load linux.java, that's it. Okay, let me... Yeah, that was... Yeah, look at this. That was just code we didn't need. All events are still working, right? I can click, like I can type. I can... What else I can do? Can I like type letters? Yeah, I can do this. Yeah. Oh, this one is a little buggy. Nice. Yeah. We're chilling. We're chilling. Cool. Just like straight up remove the file from the code base. Feels nice. Oops. What else? So this is like the grand cleanup stream, I guess. Whoops. Hey, Frankie. Hello? Welcome. Maybe actually, if I kind of proceed to do the same thing, I can just remove this one as well and remove all of it like all together and just literally only use this logic from input module. Non-textual keys that have placement in the ASCII table and thus in Unicode. I see. So there's a Z leaf in here as well and may be returned by keyboard events. So in this case, I feel like this is one of the oldest module. I think the way you do it is you have this kind of enum. And then, so I don't know since when, but Jai has this like lose thing. And lose is basically that you can use this enum as a type, but not all of the, so it kind of says, I guess the name is self-descriptive, right? You can use numbers that are not explicitly defined. So where's the... Ah, I see. Okay. So it's not like it's not really used in the same way. Where is an actual event? Yeah, here's event. Of type. Key pressed, key code. Oh yeah, okay. So key code has type of key code. And I guess technically it should be like key code. So it kinda like this, right? So that's like the key here. And I think this should still build. Huh. Type 1 at U32. Ah. Wait, why is it? Yeah, so loose turns it into U32. You see? So it's kind of like this. And now, yeah, I see why it's not done like this. Yeah, I see why it is not done like this. Because then you will have to like autocast all of this. Well, and this is a text input in getRect, which located at, yeah, in like in global modules. So let's not do this. Let's kind of be lousy like this. And now it should be fine again. Yeah. Anything else you want to like clean up or something? I don't think so. I think input module, or its input module is kind of as good as it gets at this point. And it's just like 300 lines of code. Cross-platform code. This is the only thing that kind of my UI uses. And everything else is kind of happens here. Window proc allocator? The fuck is this? Ah, okay, just like use a default allocator if there's no allocator. Sure. If you're on Microsoft Windows, the way event works, yeah, I remember this. This shit. Let me, before I proceed, just commit this, I guess, delete input x11 and clean up stolen OpenGL code. There you go. Hey Ahmed, hello. So debug log. Let me just so enable debug output. Let me just comment out sim compat so this is sim compat, then this gl log. Whoop. Sim compat, what else? Yeah, get string for type, like this. String for type, string source. Simp, some path, all three of these. Is debug context, this is what? Where is it used? Is it used anywhere? It's used somewhere here. GL label object. What the fuck is this? Wrapper around the different ways to label objects. If is debug context, GL object label. Identifier, name, label, count, label, data. Where is it used? It's not used. Sokoban seems to be close to release. I remember John said definitely not 2025, and like I think they want to release it in 2026, but there's still like a lot of work, especially in graphics department, right? There are like a lot of levels that don't have graphics yet, but I guess this is kind of like the job that you don't really have a lot of like technical roadblocks, you just kind of just grind it out, right? I never did game development, so I actually don't know if that's true or not. But it seems like content-wise they're pretty much kind of done. Maybe there will be like some... Yeah, they are in polishing phase, I see, yeah. Yeah. But you know, it's like 80-20 situation where you are in a polishing phase and this polishing phase is just... It has infinite amount of work. But yeah, I'm really hoping that 2026 becomes like the year of Jai. I mean, 10 years like is a reasonable place for a language to reach 1.0. And don't forget that nobody works full-time on this language, right? So, you know what I mean. Like, it took Rust to reach 1.0. It took Rust 10 years to reach 1.0, and then Rust had an entire, like, team working on it full-time, like, backed by the entire, like, corporation. Yeah, that's exactly. Like, especially if you're a beginner. Especially if you're a beginner programmer, it's like I think that the language is not in a place where you could give it like to someone who don't have a lot of experience in programming. Well, so I think that the language itself is in a good state. I would say a lot of work needs to be done in terms of modules, because there's like a lot of modules that ship with Jai that's in a rough shape. That's like, you know, some unfinished experiments, like straight up broken or like not very portable, or just like copy paste from like John's games, right? You know what I mean? So this needs to be cleaned up before release for sure. Tool is salty because he got hit by a buggy memcopy implementation. which I never got hit by because I didn't know it exists. uh, but yeah, like if you're an experienced programmer, you can definitely use Jive to your advantage. But if it gets released right now, there will be so much fucking hype and people will be submitting bugs like non-stop and all that. So yeah, it's just too much shit to go through for the team. I totally like understand why John doesn't want to just fucking drop it on GitHub and stuff. And he probably also want to have maybe some special license for it. In a way that, you know, like Bloody Enterprise just doesn't go like fork it and start extending it and shit. For professional game dev and experienced, I mean, yes, but it also, I mean, yes, but also you don't want like a language that is in a state where, you know, you will constantly get like issues if you hit edge cases, right? and for now, I mean, let me show you, right? Just as an example, right? Like, let's say you want. This is just actually a code, I think, from Tool that I've experimented with. What was it? I forgot. I think it's something like static array. And then you want... Was it something like this? Subscript and non-array. No, not this. Yeah, so this and there was something like oh, I know, wait. Fuck. Yeah, this is the one. Yeah. So if you do something like this, bro, what the fuck? Number signedness mismatch. 8. Could not get a constant array. Yeah, look at this. Internal compiler error. Could not get a constant array. So you see, I mean, stuff like this. And it happens because of the math here, right? So, like, if you do it like this, no. So it's not even the math, it's something else. Yeah. Karen Loss, yeah, hello. But I mean, it doesn't matter why, right? Maybe it is, like, maybe it is, but... Oh shit. Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, it is, right? But the point is, there's some like internal compiler error without like a proper error message. Fuck. Yeah, and you just like, what the fuck is going on here? So that's just one example, and there is some like weird compiler crashes if you stretch like metaprogramming too tough, too wide. There is there is some syntax inconsistencies that needs to be fixed before it can get released. And also, I think the biggest effort is not even language issues, because actually As I said, the compiler itself, it's pretty solid. I think the biggest like effort is module state, because if you go to right here, this needs to get cleaned up. There's like a lot of stuff here that's just like broken, straight up like broken or doesn't work. I mean, like the context allocators, like maybe by reference semantics, this is all, you know, it's definitely one of those things that will get fixed, or like maybe fixed, maybe ironed out, maybe documented better. But yeah, it's all just a regular kind of compiler work. But this is just like a fucking behemoth that needs like it kind of needs a manpower, I feel like, to support and make it working, you know what I mean? Like some of these modules are very good, I think. For example, I just literally looked at it. Fuck. So stuff like Flatpool, this is like very good one. Like pool, so allocators that ship with Jai I think are pretty good. Like RP Malloc, I think it had bugs. Then there was like a, but yeah. You can find code modules where they take struct by value and copy it into local for mutation. Yeah, in this case, you just should take struct by pointer, right? Which plugin do you use to have disappearing comments? Wait, what do you mean disappearing comments? I don't do anything like this. Hey Saton Miyam, hello, welcome. On the screen? Wait. Disappeared. Ah, fuck, you mean like to Twitch chat messages? It's just a text box from Streamlabs. Yeah, it's a streamlabs.com chat widget with some custom CSS that I have added to it. Yeah. Also, I think like, but yeah, the point being, I'm not gonna go into every single module and say, oh, this one works, this one doesn't work. The point being is that I think the current like team is too small to maintain all of this. Like all of this. You definitely, I guess, need probably like a just dedicated person to clean this up, or maybe I don't know, maybe I don't understand it, maybe it's just literally, I don't know, like John just says like logs in for like a week and just cleans it all up. I don't know, maybe that's also a possibility. Maybe I'm overestimating the amount of effort. Whoops. Nice, I crashed Emacs because yes, because Emacs is a great program. How many lines of code in modules? It's hard to say because there's a lot of generated and C code. Well, this is actually partially why I am working on like platform layer and Linux related stuff off tree. I was thinking at some point that maybe I should just, you know, just send John code and ask him to include it into the compiler, because a lot of things I have for Linux is better than whatever ships with the compiler. I mean, because, you know, Linux modules that ship with Jai are very, like, I guess, volunteer driven, right? It's just beta users were submitting stuff kind of over the years. But I think it's not very productive to do, because you just probably, it's better to work on DOF3, and people who use Linux, I don't know, just use my modules instead or whatnot. Strange code style mixtures, which is not a big deal. Yeah, I mean, I'm very tolerant to inconsistent code styles because I work with PHP. So I literally, this is one of those things I literally don't care about. Hey Billy the Aniki, what do you say about open backend system? I feel like Rust is the future. There's not much CPP open backends. If there are, they need a lot of info, which local companies. What do you mean by open backends? Can you please clarify? So I think I don't need this. Enable debug output. Debug loop ramps. Right, so again, no. I'm not saying it's like, oh, total garbage that needs to like burn in hell. No. All I'm saying is that it's like on the, you know, kind of like best effort, right? So it's kind of in contrast with, for example, Golang, where modules that ship with the language, they're like super fucking try hard, right? You know what I mean? And here is like, okay, this works in our game, put it in the module folder. And yeah, it has like cases that are not covered, and you just kind of like copy and extend it. So I like Jai approach because, for example, let me explain why, right? So you can go to, like, you can go to hash table, and it's literally like what? Like 300 lines of code or something. And I can read it top to bottom, and I understand how hash table works in Jai. And if I want, I can add additional modules. And as a matter of fact, I have couple functions on top of it. Same with other stuff, right? I can go to basic and go to array, and this is all like super fucking easy to read. This is everything you need to read to understand how dynamics array work in Jai. And if something here you don't like, you just get it and extend it. So in this case, I think Jai, it's not standard library, but you know what I mean, like standard library. It's just, I think it's better than probably any other language I've ever worked with, because I can just go here and read and understand everything. So in this case, I think it's very good. It's just some particular modules are very rough, you know what I mean? Not internal in-house system, but I see. You mean like web frameworks and stuff? Is this what you mean? I see. Well, I mean, I don't know. At this point, I would say like JavaScript and like Golang So Python, JavaScript, and Golang are kind of winning in terms of backend. When it comes to native programming languages, then I guess Golang has is the most like widely used like server backend language, because it just has very like rich ecosystem of libraries and whatnot. Rust, I don't know. I've never done backend development with Rust. Never. I have like absolutely no idea what they have in this department. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Rust is like a future of web or something like that. If we talk about my least favorite module here, then it's definitely X11. Definitely this one. Mainly because it's just kind of like a mental dump. Like this X11 module, this one is very much like best effort. And it has like, this is the issue, it also has like GLX dumped into here, which literally forces anything that uses X11 module link against GLX, which, you know, which is like really bad. This is like very bad and very like anti, this is kind of like a Linux anti-pattern when it comes to OpenGL development. You kind of shouldn't do this, because there's also EGL that you probably want to use on modern computers and whatever, and you don't want to link against it directly, you want to load it at runtime and yada yada yada, right? So this is probably my least favorite module. But it's also understandable, right? As I said, just somebody contributed, it kind of worked, and yeah, whatever. Axum Rust backend, yeah, I've never heard of it, never done it. Yesterday, John said people will be fucking flabbergasted that they aren't even using ECS in game or Jai. In game or Jai, yeah. I mean, I don't know if people will be flabbergasted. Like a lot of. I think that usage of ECS is very overestimated in game development. I know that Unreal and like Unity ship with ECS, but I don't think that people who use those engines, they are like, you know, using ECS consciously. I don't think that your like solo dev who is writing his first, you know, like Hollow Knight clone Metroidvania cares about, you know, ECS or whatnot. They just use Unity as a way to put pixels on the screen, and that's like it. So this is also sim compat. And this is all mine. Yeah, this is mine. Yeah, I know it's not John. I know it was contributed by someone. Yeah. And I sent patches for this module to do like stuff like add Unicode support, add like more key bindings and blah blah blah, but this X11 module is not like the way to go forward. This is literally for, you know, for people who just want to say, oh, create window and do something. So this X11 module is not production ready or anything. which makes sense, right? Because they are Windows developers. With that said, Windows module that Jai ships with, it's very game-centric. It's not good for desktop application development. For various reasons, that's why this program, Hitboxer, I have my own input windows, which is partially copied from Jai input module, but it has a bunch of addition. Namely, it, for example, handles closing window separately from closing the program, so it has VM close handling. And also, I have a separate Windows file where I have a bunch more stuff kind of bound. Bindings for a bunch more stuff. And I have things like supporting tray icons that Jai doesn't ship with and stuff like this. So yeah. File Pilot doesn't support Unicode? Seriously? That's actually kind of crazy. What do you mean doesn't support Unicode? Like, if I open a file, a folder that has like file names in, you know, like Arabic, it will just shit itself? Or like in Russian? Or what do you mean? What do you mean by doesn't support Unicode? Hey Leonte, what's up? Any abstraction is to make the client use simple. If it doesn't make the client use simple, as John says, because your game cannot be that big, why would you care? Yeah. But just also to be completely honest, I am not a game developer. It shows question marks. I see. Well, I mean, I will give him a benefit of the doubt because File Pilot isn't beta. So, you know, I'm not gonna like shit on it or anything like that. I think it's a very cool file explorer. Yeah, maybe it doesn't support Unicode, but it's definitely, it definitely will support Unicode if he wants, you know, a wider reach and proper 1.0. So I'm not worried. I don't worry about it. Motivation behind it from John's side will be if you think it's not good enough for you, right? Yeah, I mean, for sure, absolutely. He said that the point of modules that ship with the compiler is to be, one, useful, and two, simple to read. And I think simplicity he values way more than it, you know, handling all possible use cases, right? So the X11 module being all dumped into a single file, technically it's two different files. It's X11 module and then it's input X11. So technically it's two files, but yeah, X11, entire X11 implementation dumped into two files. It is simple to read. Like, I agree, it is simple. But it's also, you know, like, it's not usable if you want to support like Wayland, for example, because Anyway, you are too entertaining. You're too entertaining. I'm getting distracted. Oh, why am I looking at Windows code? What the fuck? But yeah. Two kind of TLDR. I think cleaning up modules in Jai will be a lot of effort before making the compiler public. probably not as much effort as adding, for example, ARM assembly, ARM assembler, inline assembler for ARM, but it will be a lot of fucking effort. Uh, So how do we do this? So GL load, this one is called by who? Wait. By create context. Ooh. This is actually kind of bad. So the way usual OpenGL flow works, you know, in a library like SDL, let me just bust out like a drawing board or something. And move it like here, I guess. So the way it usually works, the fuck is this? So the way it usually works in programs is you have a program where what you say is you say, you know, like SDL, like create context, right? Like, you call something like this and you give it like your version, you know, like 4, like 6, I don't know. And it will give you back something like SDL like load like load proc, right? And then you use this SDL load proc to actually load your OpenGL procedures. So you will give it out to glue or to glad or whatever, or to some shit, and then you will have then you will have as OpenGL loaded. Or if you don't care about it, you just use SDL graphics API and it does everything for you. So in our case, we have simp. So this is handled by simp, kind of transparently. And for now, the way I do it is that I just provide create context that is used here in simp. If Linux, it just calls create context. And at this point, it already kind of has like a window handle and whatnot. Right? And inside of that, I first load OpenGL, you see? And then what I do, yeah, so I load everything in OpenGL, and after that, I create context. Well, in my case, this is hard-coded to use EGL, but still. Yeah. Choose config. What's this? sRGB, linear. Yeah. Core. Also, this is kind of bad. I think you shouldn't unconditionally enable debug for OpenGL. Isn't this like considered bad? You only want to do this in like debug builds or fall back on something like this where you just where a program just does GL enable when it needs debug output. I'm also not super knowledgeable about this stuff. But anyway, yeah, it creates context and then it returns stuff. So why this can be bad? This can be bad because first, some APIs, they just shit itself when you do this on some systems. For example, JLX, you want to create context first and then load stuff. As we figured out ourselves. And also, on top of that, why it's bad is because some people, they kind of want to hold on to creating a window before they have OpenGL context, because look at this. You see what happens here? Is it visible on Twitch? When I launch my program, first it appears as just a black window. You see? Is it visible on stream that for like a brief moment you look at the black window and then you kind of see the UI? I hope it's visible. Yeah. So it happens before because I'm creating window before I am initializing context, OpenGL context. And only then when the context is ready, it is able to bleed the UI on the window. And some people, they prefer to wait until OpenGL context is ready and only then to show a window. For example, as far as I know, a focus editor works like that. And for example, if I go to projects, prepare for the flashbang. So here you see, this one, it doesn't have anything like that. Well, I mean, the program itself does way less, but the point being is that it doesn't create a window until we have a OpenGL context ready for it. And if we were like not able to create a context, we just straight up say like, fuck you, and don't launch the program like at all. You can just show Visual Studio splash screen for 8 seconds. I heard anything less than 10 seconds is good enough. Yeah, 10 seconds or faster. Are you satisfied? Yep. Yeah, welcome. Why is it so slow, man? But yeah, so this entire flow is very like hard-coded. But man, I mean, it does all this stuff. It like analyzes your IntelliSense, it downloads debug symbols from the space satellites. It's very important. It also initializes all of the UI. It warms up the garbage collector. It also boots up the Cortana for better IntelliSense. It's very important, man. You don't understand. Also, you're an elf. You have 3,000 years. You shouldn't care about how slow your software is. Relax. Consume. Obey. Yeah, so this needs to be rewritten. And I guess we need to split it. So create context, what this thing should do, right? So this thing it should do like first get platform specific loader. So it's gonna be like WGL load proc or GLX load proc or like EGL load proc plus like all extensions context. Then it should like return context plus as config plus loader proc. And then caller then uses loader proc load for profile, right? This is usually the flow. Am I correct? And we kind of do it backwards. Big data, like Cloudflare down, GitHub down, I'm building my own infra in Agile. Yes! So in 10 years, you become bloated and you will be down and everybody will discuss you. My shit is an OVH. Yeah, same. I host VPN for my extended family, like closest and extended family and some friends on 5, it's not even 5, it's 3.7 euros a month VPS in Hetzner, and it was just fucking golden. To verify this, let's maybe, do I have, yeah. I know. OVH is kind of cool. I was thinking of hosting my shit there because Hetzner it works, and Hetzner actually they kind of accepted me surprisingly, but it's so fucking risky. At any day they can realize that I'm Russian and they will just drop me. Especially because I'm like Russian using their server to create a VPN, and anything that's like related to um, avoiding censorship and anything related to like Russian passport, Hessner is just kind of very, you know, very anal. So I should probably maybe move my shit to OVH or something. They dropped me like 3 times because I'm Russian. Yeah. They just do it. They just do it. I mean, I have a lot of paperwork that I'm super like legal in the country that I am, but still, they just do it for the passport. They just do it for the love of the game. SDL OpenGL example. So let's just look at how big boys do it, and also GLFW example. Mm, simple SDL. How old is this example? Thanks, it works on Windows 11. Nice. Yeah, let's look at it. I just want to see the API. So you first create a window. Look at this. So you kind of send the flags that you want OpenGL right here. So maybe they kind of prepare something right away. And then you get the context. Oh, look at this. And by this point, so maybe since you do this, maybe you just get OpenGL context right away. So you don't even need to do anything. Look at this. And then you just use SDL GL swap window. Well, in our case, I think we just use simp swap window and it kind of falls through. But This is also kind of weird. Like, why do you need to call SDLGL create context manually, but then you just don't load procedures yourself? Hey, El Marco. Yeah, I know that, but I'm just wondering because usually you make the context current and then you need to load a bunch of procedure pointers. But it seems like OpenGL or SDL does it for you, like here maybe internally. But then why doesn't it activate the context too? This seems weird. Let me find different example. Also GLFW. I want to take a look at it. Let's look at the API generated AI generated code. Yeah, so this is slightly more convoluted. You set a bunch of attributes for which one you want. You want double buffer, you want a depth size. You probably would also set like multi-sampling, anti-alias here. And here you still say OpenGL. Then you create a context. And then make current. Glue. Why do you need glue here? Who loads procedure pointers, brother? Who loads the procs? And glad. Yeah, so again, why I'm doing it, I just want to see what API people are familiar with and what's the reason behind it. So this one also uses GLAD, fine. Set an error callback, sure. Window and a context. All right. You create a window. And creating a window in GLW gives you context right away. And then you do it manually. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. And then you receive events. Right, so putting it all together, okay. Shaders, error callback. So init probably does something interesting. Then here you kind of, this is just like an SDL. You set this, then you create a window and you get context current. Yeah, so here, yeah, this is what I was looking for. You make the context current and then you load procedure pointers. And by this point, GLFW get proc address would be set to one of the platform get proc addresses. And this is, I guess, vsync. And then you just use your normal code. This is kind of what I was looking for. And I guess, so this API, I understand. Well, the only thing I'm thinking is why, for example, this part cannot be done inside here. maybe because you might want to make context current on a different thread, like yourself. For example, one of the threads will like create a window and you maybe want to make context current on a different thread. Maybe that's why they give you this possibility. Yeah, I know that. It's just you make the context current on every batch of GL calls. Do you? Do you? I think you just do it once per thread and be done with it. Because so in my program, this is what works. I think I don't even call it current myself. I'm pretty sure Sim does it for me. Right, so what I do here is this doesn't do anything OpenGL related. Yeah, I create window. This doesn't do anything OpenGL related. Then parse settings. Yeah, this set render target. This thing does OpenGL. So set render target here in simp, it will do backend set render target. So probably this one. Yeah, look at this. So if OS equals, nice, all commented out. Wait, how do I? Init it for this window. Yeah, so it sets the current context. What the fuck do I do it? Got an ad? Is the thing? No, huh? I wonder who on Twitch buys ads for like politically charged streamers. That's kind of weird. Update window. This is the one. This has to be the one, right? No. The nitro stuff. I see, I see. Okay, okay. Because I set this thing on my stream. So I set this thing on my stream. Politics, incentive, social issues. This like effectively disables all ads. But I guess you will still get ads from Twitch itself. Backend resize target info. This is illegal instruction if you don't set emit red. That's interesting. Hey buzzer, did you figure out? Yeah, I just restarted OBS and now I have 1080p again. I don't know what happened. Wait, who creates context? This thing should init OpenGL. I'm pretty sure. Right? Check init, blah blah blah. Maybe it's in check init somewhere. No? No, it's just to, yeah, this one just to make sure that we have, yeah, like immediate state for vertex buffers and whatnot. So this is not it. Immediate flush. The fuck? What does this do? Yeah, so it uses OpenGL right away. Bro. So if OS Linux, let me just, I guess, refresh my memory how it works. So case Linux, we import this stuff. So this is just importing a bunch of stuff. This should not work. Set dimensions. Find or add window. Where? I'm kind of confused. I forgot how it works. I mean, it can be in create window, I'm pretty sure. Surely it's not there. So we do like a bunch of these. The fuck is this? Uh, yeah, there's no OpenGL here. Here we just do a bunch of draw procedures. Init fonts, set render target. Is it here in init fonts? No. What the fuck are you doing this? And sure it's not in a platform init. Because this is just some... Yeah, this doesn't involve window. Hey Cornex, backend init. Yeah, but where is it getting called? So this is literally the first call to sim, set render target. So it must be from here. An immediate flush instantly shouldn't work. So here's backend set render target. So this shouldn't work. Ah, fuck me. So it maybe does some early returns. Maybe that's why it works. Maybe per thread needs immediate state. Num vertices. Yeah, it probably just does early return here. If the yeah, okay. So I got confused here. So this thing does early return, then it adds the window, and then it does backend set render target. So, and here we probably do... No, this is commented out. Yeah, back ahead. There you go. This is where it gets called. Fine. Okay. This is where it gets called. And backend init, it will call this. So this is where it calls GL create context. And technically, it should... So this was the old code that I commented out. It would create window for the GL FBC, which is, yeah, it doesn't exist anymore because for reasons that I deleted all of that. First time init EGL make current. Whoa. Yeah, so this is a bit confusing. It's a bit confusing because I'm juggling kind of two things, right? I'm trying to satisfy simp API, and I'm also trying to make like robust context creation. Let me look at how Jai simp does it. So simp, where was it? GL. Yeah, backend GL here. So the way it does it is backend init. This is what if context we just. Why is it only for Windows? Whatever. Do first time init equals true. Brrr. Yeah, so just glx create context, just straight up. And glx create context is in. This is in GL module. And this goes through all of the stuff that. What does it do? This will create a dummy window, I'm pretty sure. If glx create context attributes arb equals null, creates legacy context. I see. Otherwise, so there should be a call to create window somewhere here. Choose if be configured. After that, wait, where's the window, my friend? Am I blind? Am I blind? It doesn't create a window here. That's kind of interesting. I was kind of sure that it it should. It's because window is already created here. So it doesn't go through the fake window. It just kind of uses the window without any OpenGL context and just tries to use it. So in this sense, so you see kind of the way simp works, it also allows the window to flash with the background color without OpenGL context being ready. But at least because of this, it lets you like avoid having to create a fake window and stuff like that. So what it does, it just changes its attributes. So it chooses configs based on the visual from the window, and then after that, it just creates the context and it returns it. And choosing MSAA where its attributes, yeah, sure, okay. And it returns the GL config here. And then what it does with it, it should put it on the context or some shit like this. Yeah, it instantly calls it current. But where does it load it? Oh, there you go. So, and then it calls load. So you see, simp that ships with Jai actually does it somewhat idiomatic. You see? So it first creates the context. Well, the only not idiomatic kind of in quotation marks thing it does is that it waits until the window shows up and then loads the context. I mean, it's maybe still good to do it because so imagine a scenario where you weren't able to load OpenGL like at all. You completely shut the bed, nothing works. Like EGL doesn't work, fucking GLX doesn't work. You don't know why. In theory, what you can do is you either poop a bunch of crap into the console and hope that the user goes and looks at it, And if you're a super like billion-dollar company enterprise, what you would do in this case is you probably fall back to some kind of a software rendered solution that just shows, an error on the screen. That's like super polished experience that I don't know. The only people who do that, honestly, is Windows because they have message boxes built into the operating system. Maybe macOS does it as well, but on Linux, this is kind of a lost art. The way you do it on Linux is you just shit all over the console and hope that the user just like restarts your application in the terminal. Because, and I mean, most Linux users do because they've quite accustomed to, be in pain, in constant pain, and they're very like obedient and submissive. So Linux users usually do it just fine. Anyway, so after we load OpenGL, and this is some like GL pointer, very used to being shit all over. Yeah, same. And I'm not, you know, I'm kind of like this as well. I because I use Linux full time for over a decade. I have very high tolerance to pain. Not gonna lie. So yeah, GL pointer. Where does it come from? I mean, it probably comes from GL module, right? Uh, so here's GL load. Yeah, it accepts a pointer to GL procedures, to procs. So in my case, I don't want to, I don't necessarily want to do it because my solution is kind of having procedures like generated as a part of a build process. So I don't need to decouple it like this. I don't need to have like this type like separately. And in Jai, I think they have to accept it because they have two different sets of GL procedures. They have one on GLAD core and they have one on GLAD all. You see, because they are pre-generated and you don't have like a way to redo it, sort of. Yeah, so this is where my bindings generator is kind of better because I just let you regenerate those. And my loader would probably get an enum here, like I want to load actually no, it won't do anything like that. It might accept an enum telling that we are loading GLX, and in this case, instead of providing a procedure, I just kind of pick it one of those. We'll see about it. But yeah, so what we need to fix is we need to separate context creation from loading. That will be the first step. But this is just set render target. Um, sorry, not send render target. This is like backend init. This is one, yeah. If gel context. I know what is this thread safety means. Probably this is not thread safe. I see. If multiple threads call backend init, this probably can like shit itself because the GL context is global, I assume. Mm, so yeah. Okay, yeah. Now I have all of the context. I know what I need to do. Mm, Before I do it, let me take a bathroom break. How about that? How about this? Um, do we want some music? I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted on it. I don't know. I'll I'll turn you on something like this. Something kind of chill, not very like annoying. I'll be right back. Oh, wait for me. How are we doing, people? Any like serious on topic questions? I'm joking. Um, blah. Dun, 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 dun. Right, so also this one is a default. I just realized that the way it gets called in Jai. No. So it is decoupled for the purposes of using it for with some other library. For example, with SDL that returns its own get proc address. So maybe accepting get proc address is actually it might be quite useful, right? So you can provide an enum here. Like I want GLX, I want EGL, I want Windows. And then can still override it. Just for cases like this. So for example, you want to use my bindings generator to get procedure struct, but you want to load it with SDL. Yeah, that's a good use case. So definitely providing a callback here, I think it's fine. And then it should probably check. Yeah. Oh. So you see what it does. If you provide it, you just call this. Otherwise, so here where it just kind of forces you to use GLX. So you get address. So what's this? Proc. Yeah, it gets type info. GL get version. Yeah, so you see this relies on the context already existing. And GL get version, I'm pretty sure just gets like GL get string or... Yeah. Yeah, GL get string for GL version, and then if it's a string, you kind of just scan it. GL get integer v. emotes are broken. You know why? Probably because either FFZ or 7TV are hosted behind what do you call it? Cloudflare, and it's down all day. Because yeah, I was watching Twitch today and after work, and yeah, emotes didn't work because of Cloudflare downtime. So maybe you need to refresh your shit. Am I feeling or a little bit of both, honestly. A little bit of both. Cigarette version, if it's 0, just straight up return. So this is for cases where you kind of call GL load without context existing, but other than that, iterates over procs. Don't load constants, is intentional void pointer. Aha. I see. Not equals 0. It type equals procedure or is intentional void pointer. Makes sense. So you cast it to a procedure. If not, is intentional void pointer. So we assert that shit is SQL. That's super defensive, I gotta say. Uh-huh. Okay, do the work. Strings in type info are guaranteed to be zero terminated now. That's pretty cool. So here's we get proc address. If address, we just cast the shit. Otherwise, if type equals bool, so this is loading the extension booleans. What do we have it? If GL version parse major more. What? The fuck is this? I see. So we would never have it. Well, if it's a library function, probably should do something like this. If poke, yes, so we kind of do it. If not begins with, so this is if type equals bool. So this is proc pointer, else bool, otherwise GL version. What the fuck is this? GL version. But we need to have it sensitive, yeah. Major and minor. Here, yes. Okay, yeah. This is actually an interesting one. I guess if you have like profile 1.0, all of these are guaranteed to be statically available, right? I guess it makes sense. Also, you have like a switch here. Huh. And everything else, 1.1 is also static here. I have nothing static, so I'm just requiring you to load OpenGL, to never link against it. Yeah. Okay. So let me go to my module. This is wrong Emacs instance. Yes, this is the one I want. But before I go, I want to look at a couple more examples, not from Jai, but from like SeaWorld. Specifically, one of these. So maybe let's do it like this, and then yeah, create it. Kind of like that. Insane tailing window manager stacking skills, by the way. Like, this is crazy. I have like a container with shit here, then internal container with 2 containers. This is a container in a window, and then here's like 2 windows. So yeah, here kind of the same thing. Well, the only kind of difference is that you set a bunch of hints. Oh, sorry. You set a bunch of hints as you're saying, oh, which content should you create? And in my case, the way simp works is yeah, the way simp works here is it kind of sets them as an argument to functions. Which, actually, where do you get them from? Yeah, it's just, yeah. This is the minimum we need. Kind of. Good? I guess good, yeah. Create window, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, make context current, and then you do GL, glad load GL. And maybe a couple more SDL thingies. SDL, die. Die, motherfucker, die. So init screen. Whatever it is. It's SDL init. Sure. Is there a full code? Ugh. I don't want to download all code. Is there like... yeah, I'll just look at it. Set attributes. So yeah, same shit as in GLFW. Set a bunch of attribute. Request a depth buffer. So this just sets... So I guess this thing... It kind of sets a bunch of these. So like a double buffer would go here. Maybe here. Do not create a... Yeah, don't create double buffer here, but yeah, you would do it here. Time to create a window, which is done. SDL create window, the full screen. We use blah blah blah. Is used to tell SDL that we want to use window for an OpenGL context. I would probably want to look at SDL source code to see how exactly it handles this code. That would be maybe more like reliable than looking at random internet examples. Then you get the context. This is kind of like but no functions through which we can access it. That's where glad comes in. Yeah, glad load OpenGL. So here you load it manually. Nice. All right. Yeah, so this kind of does the same thing as GLFW. So this means our loader to be kind of maximum, to have maximum flexibility. So back to the drawing board. Right. I'll just do this and then insane drawing skills. So what we need to do is we need to create context. Right. We need load procs. My wife has drawing tablet. Maybe I should steal it from her, because doing this with mouse is not very fun. And load procs, this should accept some kind of platform enum. Or so when you do create context, I think let me yoink this. So when you create context, this should probably accept like platform specific. Right, so because this is where you create either GLX or EGL or WGL. And here you will also accept like major stuff, like major, minor, so kind of what you want from the context. So it's like major, minor, and then all of this crap. What's this? OpenGL, SDL. Yeah, all of this. So red, green, blue size, all of this fucking crap. So major, minor, like red, you know, like profile. And these, like this will be optional. This will be optional. And if they're not provided, we need to do something like just pick the best you can. And the second thing we need is GL load. And And this will use loader that got created here. And it will accept like an optional load proc. So load proc address. Optional. And if this one is not provided, we will just use whatever we got here. And I don't think I want to like round trip it into the loader. It's probably just, I'll probably just set it on the context. Or maybe I will keep it as global. Right? I guess. Yeah. I think that's a good plan. That's a good fucking plan. It only took me 2 hours to remember how OpenGL loader that I wrote works, how default OpenGL loader works, what are APIs that people commonly use, what Simp expects and uses, right? How did I forked and modified Simp to make EGL work? To get all of this context back, I didn't waste it, right? I spent 2 hours on it. And I had to do it because I don't keep this project in my head all the time. Because I only get to work on it for like a few hours a week. So sometimes I have to take big breaks from this project due to different reasons, and I just fucking forget how things are. So sometimes I need to spend all this time to get this context back. Admittedly, I didn't actually work all these 2 hours. I spent some of the time to hang out with you, my dear viewers. But you know what I mean. Yeah. Now I'm kind of out of it, so I'm thinking if I should jump right into implementation right now, or maybe not. Maybe I should be done for today. Let me think about it. So if I go until 2 a.m., I will go to bed at like 2:30. I need to wake up at like 9. Or maybe early if tomorrow is rain and I need to walk my daughter to kindergarten. Which means sleep deprivation, and I'm old. Fuck. Being responsible adult is hard. I'll give it a little bit more. I'll push just a little bit. Who needs sleep, right? I mean, come on. Oh, actually, no, macOS might be useful. Before I proceed, who maintains macOS OpenGL definition? Is it Kronos or is it Apple? So if I go to Kronos registry here, do we have macOS definitions here? So what do they call it? NS OpenGL, right? What does NS stand for? NS, not NV, NS. So you have these XMLs. You have GL, GLX, and WGL. So you don't have Mac ones. Do you have Mac? The fuck is this? Open extensions? No, this is not it. Yeah, I don't think so. How would you even look for something like this? Maybe issues? Maybe Mac OS? What if we do Mac OS OpenGL XML spec? Not provided in an XML format by Apple or Kronos. Regarding, oh, this is 2007. Ooh. So it means that my bindings generator will not be able to generate these for Mac OS. Let me check the, maybe not Kronos registry, maybe not this one, but other repos that they have. Because they have EGL, which is separate. Right, so they have EGL registry, which is separate. Maybe they have something for Mac here, or Mac OS. Molten VK is here. I mean, that's different. Maybe Apple. Fuck. Another thing I could say, if there is maybe an S-OpenGL context, something. A lot of windows here. Yeah, it's not repositories. I need to kind of do it like this. All right. So what do we have here? OpenXR. This material X render gel cell. OpenXR. Material X. Shit. Yeah, so we don't have this. So maybe they just don't have platform specific crap, and they just literally support like core profiles up to X, and it's just fine. So maybe what they do is, oh, sorry. Maybe what they do is literally just this. Kind of, you know. So where's the and SGL create context? Maybe I just do this and it's fine. So how hard it is? Why is it two of them? One of them when you have window. another one when you don't have window. Mm-hmm. Yep. Get proc address. So it's just the DL open with DL sim. I see. Okay. So they don't have XML definitions. I guess these things it's just in AppKit and that's it. Where's the context itself? There you go. This is the struct for Apple. Yeah. And this thing is, yeah, it's just in a module. All right. Mm-hmm. This is also, for me at least, supporting Mac in my bindings would be super fucking hard to do, specifically because, well, I don't have MacBook easily available. Like, I have MacBook from 2015, but its fucking battery died. And I didn't bother like buying a replacement. Because I need to buy it from like AliExpress and wait for it and buy and then replace it and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a little bit unfortunate. The fact that there is no XML for Apple. This isn't third party. Let's just kill this buffer. And let's go module. All right, this is the wrong one. We need this one. I'll just, yeah. GL create context. So first of all, so I'm not gonna finish it today. I'm just gonna like outline the implementation. First of all, GL load. So GL load will accept config, I guess, which is and GL or like get proc address proc, which is gonna be proc type and is gonna be null by default. And then this get proc address proc. let's simplify it a bit. What the fuck are you doing? I accidentally killed the wrong thing. Proc address, yeah, this is the one. This is just, I think it accepts name, right? So proc name is gonna be a pointer to U8. And it's gonna return, I guess, U8 pointer, which is maybe like void pointer. And it's gonna be AC call. I think that's what it is. And to verify, let's open GL egl.jai, which actually has egl get proc address here. So yeah, proc name, U8, egl must cast to proper function point type, which is actually, I'm pretty sure it's just a pointer to void. Where's... Yeah. It's just a type that is a void pointer. Actually, I can do it, you know. I can sort of do it like this. So you do this, and GL load config is gonna be a struct which actually should be a config. Because I can just maybe take a few parameters in line and it's gonna be okay. Because I mean, Jai supports named arguments. I don't need to do this, I'm pretty sure. Let's do without it. So we get proc address, which is kind of null by default. We can also do libraries, which could be like array of string. But it should also be like a null. But I actually don't know if this works in Jai. Is it something I can do? Is it something that's... No? Huh, look at this. I actually used it, create virtual device and key codes. Look at this. Is an empty array by default. Nice. So I probably at some point I've tried it out and it worked. Yeah. Look at this. Ooh, yeah. So it totally works. Nice. So why I'm actually so cautious about it is because of Python. Working with Python forever traumatized me about accepting arrays as default arguments. Fuck. Please save me. And it's not libraries, it's like lib names. What else? I mean, we can, I guess, point it to proc. You could probably provide one of these. You know, for example, if you I know, like maybe you have your own procs and you just want to use my loader for some reason. Kind of. Maybe. Right, so procs struct like a pointer to what is it called, like GL procs. But in my case, I would have to do like annoying casts here if I do it like this. Because it also will support like EGL procs, for example. Right, so it technically it's a different type. So the structure is the same, right? So the structure is that we have a bunch of procedure pointers and maybe some like booleans. Well, yeah, look at this. So yeah, maybe like a booleans. Maybe like a boolean here. So maybe what I can do here is I can have like a base struct that will accept these as like an interface. So we are like proper object-oriented, you know, programmers. I can have GL procs that's like a base struct. And this could be, you know, as like using GL like procs. I can generate these like that. And then it will do... It will have like a T. So a pointer to T, which is, you know, which adheres to this. Actually, I can just be generic here. Like, why not? Yeah, I mean... And, so this will... And this loader will work for both platform specific, so the context, and for main OpenGL as well. Yeah. And we kind of like will kind of dog food this function in create context. Yes, so this, so GL create context here, it's gonna call, and this is like EGL create context, if we'll be honest. And this will call so this pointer to this, EGL X procs. So a pointer to this, then array of EGL specific libraries. So like lib egl.so.1, then do I okay ls/user lib egl. So what do we have here? Mesa. What's the difference? Let me do ls.la. Aha. So we have, this is the canonical one. Then 0.1. No. Keikuna, yeah. Fucking leap darts. Yeah, I'm losing my mind a little bit. So this is the canonical one. SO.1 links to it, then SO links to that. Then we also have a Mesa one. What the fuck does this do? And look also how huge it is. It's fucking huge. Could it be so that this is a loader library and this is an actual library? What do we think? Do you think that's the case? This is something I would probably ask AI for or something like that. Let's actually do it. I'm kind of curious. Let me open Grok and I'll just see if it shows like history so I don't like fucking dox my private requests to the API machine. My Arch Linux user lib has following EGL dynamic libraries. Super grog bad chesting. Yeah. I am paying for Twitter. Well, it's technically not me, right? So I'm not the one who's paying, but yeah, I get to use Super grog. It's 30 something euros per month. It's not super expensive. It's like 35 euros per month or 32 euros. I forgot. So I have these, and now not counting symbolic links, what is the difference between 65k EGL SO.1 and 32k lib EGL Mesa? Boom. R. Yeah. NVIDIA. Really? I mean, I kind of agree with you too, but I mean, I'm not paying for this, right? It's not me who's paying, so I'm fine with using it. Copilot. I've I I don't like having AI in my ID. Maybe like call me old-fashioned, but I want a separate chat that I can chat with, as opposed to it be like integrated into my text editor. Or maybe Copilot is a separate chat now, I don't know. From NVIDIA utils. VS Code stuff, sit down. But I'm using VS Code and actually don't have Copilot here. Finish setup. Fuck you. Oh, it's literally this. Code completions. Yeah, setup Copilot to use AI. Yeah. So I disabled it, but yeah, it like nags me periodically. Yeah, so maybe it's like removed on Linux, I don't know. But yeah, I don't use it in VS Code. Brother, I am on AMD GPU. Actually, maybe it's still maybe it's still correct. No. There's Linux firmware NVIDIA for some reason. Why? Maybe it's just like kernel module. Rather, I am on AMD GPU. Some common packages? Bro, I don't have anything with... Yeah. NVIDIA utils. Actually does all the work. Mesa Radeon SI. Via LDConf. Let me check LDConf, but before that, I don't have NVIDIA utils installed. Think harder, my guy. Files you listed should not both. Yeah. I was just about to ask that. Like, you should be able to do this. So, pacman-f user lib. Which one is this? This one. What? Super secret mode. Brother, please. Okay. It's libgelvnd. Okay. Let's see if it what. Now I'm curious what it will say about this. Now it's searching the web. 80 results. I just fucking stressed someone's personal web server. You were right. GL vendor neutral dispatch library. Okay, so I don't need to read any of this shit. I know. So my assumption was correct. So this is a loader library. And this is an actual thing that has all the symbols. But still, yeah. Let me have this. So GL load this one, and then I'll just probably, just copy all of these. And then unnamed one. Maybe this is something we want, maybe this is something we could provide as a settings. So for example, someone who uses our code could just set like absolute paths to these libraries. Maybe. So this is a little bit convoluted. So I was thinking about adding config struct specifically because it would be easier if I just said, you know, instead of this, I could just say, could have just said .egl, right, where, you know, API, something like non-EGL cooks and something like this, and GL load, right, would support some shit like this. And then all of this crap, procs, libs, it would resolve internally. And you only use this high-level API. You know what? Huh. Maybe I should do it for extensions only. So instead of load, GL load, I need to have GL load and then GL load platform extension or something. I'm gonna think about it. Right, so think about this API where the user just says, I want this platform API. I don't fucking care about library names. You nerd. Might be useful. But for now, I'll do this. So we have EGL create context. We have this, and then this internal one, EGL ext procs. So load extensions. Load extensions, I think it's what it does. It just literally, yeah, it literally just does this. Yep, it just populates a hash table, then it iterates, then it just looks if extension is available, then it loads it. Nice typo. Otherwise, yeah. Yeah. This is kind of a little bit of a copy paste from this because it's also pointer. This one adds a boolean case. These code paths can be collapsed for sure. Yeah, so this will be the thing. And then we proceed. After that, we return the context, and then caller will call GL load again with procs correctly. Lib names could be skipped. Oh shit. So if lib names are skipped, how do we fucking know? So these lib names must be associated. So there should be like a default association of lib names to the proc struct, which we'll lose if we don't require this argument to be filled. Yep. So I'm either over-engineering it with adding like preset structs, or I can put this information onto the proc struct, but then it's not gonna be overridable, which kind of sucks if I want to make it slightly more flexible. Or I just special case this one. Because this is probably the only one that can be... Oh, pressed middle click. This is the only one that I probably want to special case in this sense, because create context will fill those. And GL load. You know, this might be another another signal that having this API is better. Or maybe separately GL load and GL load platform. Right, so I mean GL load platform. And GL platform. This is gonna be like Glide platform, because I don't want to have like GL, capital GL, because capital GL kind of reserved by the OpenGL. And what would we return? I guess boolean maybe, if it's successful or not. And then with non. This is ZII. EGL, GLX, WGL, and Mac. And then here, I guess you maybe still want to have these configurable but have defaults. I just thought about something. So this is a little bit sketchy, right? Because, you know, a version can be bumped and stuff like this. This is where if you go, you know, if you go all the fucking way, like you go absolute batshit crazy, you just have prefix, libgl, or just egl, and you go into ld-config, and you search basically for any library that has egl in its name, and you find the best one. This is how you target the most amount of weird-ass Linux distros possible. But this is not something I really want to do, or not kind of complexity I want to introduce for no reason. So yeah. But this is something maybe to think about. And then, so if platform equals, right. And how do you do like complete? Yeah, there you go. So you do complete. So what complete does, complete tells you that you need to handle all of the switch cases here. And if you don't handle even a single one, you get compiler error. I'm pretty sure there is how to, yeah, if case. Yeah, if statements, blah, 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 blah. And then in this most recent complete example, it might seem redundant because, yeah. Yeah. I remembered correctly. And then case, so none. This is just something like, I don't know, known platform. Then case EGL. So we do, like, you know, and then case GLX. Right. And still default one with the same shit. Yeah. Turn false, and I guess turn true. Yeah. So when we're gonna implement this crap, so load platform, and it will just actually load procs. It will call load procs with the libraries for each one of these. And I think that probably looks nice. Right, so instead of doing this, it's gonna do GL load platform, and that's literally all it does here. Yeah. And this is a little bit more rigid. Although I can also kind of extend this against to, you know, having this as struct and then having like a kind of these and then having predefined set of libraries that you can maybe override or some shit. So yeah, this over-engineering might wait. I can start literally with this. Yeah. This is where I end for today. I have a plan, and it's not even like a concept of a plan. It's actual plan that I can actually implement and make my system more robust. And then I will take this and I will move it onto my OpenGL loader and bindings generator. I might work on it a little bit off stream, just to kind of push it forward. So yeah, I think today was quite a productive day. Even though it took me 2 hours to just regain the context, which I'm not very happy with, but I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm ending the stream in a good mood. Maybe let's find someone to raid, shall we? Yeah, thank you. I mean, let's find someone to raid. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to hop on Twitch for the raid, so we can have a chunky raid. But who are we gonna raid? Anyone? I see Colonx is streaming. This is like an easy target, but maybe there's someone, you know, kind of smaller. Maybe there's someone small who we can raid instead. Because Colonx is kind of on a roll, he's balling. Any systems programming streams here that we can read? Code forces may contain sexual themes. It's probably a bit too late for that. Yeah, I don't know, man. Don't quite. Who's homeless game dev? Okay, what are you game deving in? He's streaming in Czech. Well, Unlucky. Well, I've tried... Oh, you know what? There's Ryan. He's probably doing some pixel art. Yeah, he has so C++, game dev, blah blah blah. Let's rate him. Re art. Oh, but Twitch says I can't rate at this moment. Well, I'll do the I'll do the silent rate then. Feel free to go watch this dude, right? So let me shout out him. He's pretty cool. He does a lot of like pixel arty stuff. Twitch says I can't raid. So yeah, go. I guess go watch him. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I'll probably see you all tomorrow. Thank you YouTube. Thank you Twitch. Thank you for the company. I've enjoyed it immensely. Hope you weren't too bored by my ramblings. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye. And I see my camera super blurry. Fuck! Bye.